All right, let's continue on with number 17. It says Stuart is buying a pair of jeans that regularly cost $40. They are on sale for 20% off. If the tax rate is 8%, what is the sale price of the jeans including tax? So first we need to figure out how much jeans are. So they're originally $40. I'm going to go ahead and multiply that by 20%, which will show me how much is taken off. So I need to convert 20% into a decimal, which will, if I move the decimal over twice, it'll give me 0.20, or I could just do 0.2 because 0 on the end is not necessary. And we have $8. So it's $8 off. Remember, let's not forget what the question is asking us. It is asking us the sale price of the jeans, including tax. So don't get caught up and think that the sale price of the jeans is $8. It's not $8. $8 is how much the discount is. So 40 minus 8 is $32. So I have $32 is the sale price of the jeans. Now I simply got to multiply it by the sales tax, which is 8%. If I turn 8% into a decimal, it's going to be 0.08 because I moved the decimal point over twice. So that's going to give us 16, carry the 1. And that's going to give us 24 plus 1 is 25 and 0, 0. So what we're going to do here is, add these up, and we have 2, 5, 6. And I'm going to move the decimal point over twice. And $2.56 is my sales tax. I'm going to add that to $32. My total should come to 32 plus 2.56, which will give me 34.56. That is my total price with tax included. The answer for this is B. 18 says a calculator that is regularly $20 is on sale for 40% off. What is the sale price of the calculator? So once again, please let's pay attention what the question is asking. It says, what is the sale price of the calculator? So it wants the final price at the end. So let's go ahead and do this. The calculator is $20. It's 40% off, so we're going to go ahead and multiply that by 0.4, which is the decimal equivalent of 40%. That's going to give us $8 off. Remember, this is the discount. So it's $20 minus 8, and that will give us $12, which is my final price of the calculator. My answer is B. Number 19. 19 says the percentage discount at a store is determined using the table below. So if the customers purchase items less than $50, the discount is $25. $50 to $100, the discount is $30. Over $100, the discount is $35. So for this one, it says Shamika bought 3 skirts that cost $25 each before the discount. What is her total after the discount? So we're looking for the total. So it's once again going to be a final price. So first we need to determine how much she spent to figure out what discount she got. So she purchased 3 skirts at $25. Now if you're just browsing through this and don't really read the problem, you'll see this $25 here and you'll think, okay, $25 is less than $50, so she got 25% off. But we know that that's not really the case. In this case, she purchased 3 skirts at $25 each. If we add all those 3 skirts up, we come to the total of $75, which is not less than $50. It's going to be $50 to $100, which means we're getting 30% off. So let's go ahead and find what 30% is of 75. I'm going to multiply 75 by 30%, which we know if we turn it into a decimal will be 0.30, or in this case just 0.3. You don't need the 0 at the end. 3 times 5 is 15. Carry the 1. That's going to give us 22. So $22.50 is her discount. We're still going to have to take that away from 75. So I'm going to go ahead and set that up right here. I'm going to subtract $22.50. And this is going to give me, let me just finish doing the math here, $52.50 is going to be my total my total price of the discounted items. So my correct answer is C. All right, 20 says Mr. and Mrs. Blank sold their house for $200,000 and need to hire an attorney to handle the closing procedures. Attorney Mr. Gable charges a flat rate of $2,500. Attorney Mrs. Mandel charges 1.5% of the cost of the home. Which attorney would be cheaper for Mr. and Mrs. Blank to use? So let's find out which one is cheaper. So we know that Mr. Gable charges a flat fee of $2,500. So we have to figure out if Mrs. Mandel can charge less than this or more than this, so we can figure out which one's better to use. So she charges 1.5%. Now, if we want to multiply it to the total price of the house, which is $200,000, we have to make sure that we turn this into decimal by moving the decimal point over twice to the left. In this blank loop right here, we have to put a 0 as a placeholder. So we're going to multiply 200,000 by 0.015. All right, so this is 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, and 5 times 2 is 10. Whoops, excuse me. Let me see, we have 1, 1, or 0, 0, 0, 0. We have 5 zeros, so one more, and 1 times 2 is 2. The last one is 0 right here, so I'm just going to go ahead and not put it down. It's just going to be all zeros at the end. So I got 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, and 3. Sorry about my zeros, they're looking pretty bad. Since we're holding 3 place values over here, for the decimal, we have to move it over 3 times here. And it looks like Mrs. Mandel charges $3,000 for this particular house, the sale price of this house for her fees. So it looks like Mr. Gable is the winner here. Let me see, it says the fees would be the same. That's not true. Cannot determine that with the information given. We had enough information that we could figure it out. Of course, if we didn't have the percent or the amount of the house, we would not be able to figure out this problem. But in this case, we did. So none of those answers apply. Mr. Gable is the answer. All right, 21 says, which of the following has the same value as 5 to the 6th power times 5 to the negative 2 power? So this is a pretty simple problem. The one thing you have to remember is that when you have bases that are the same and you're multiplying it, the exponents have to be added. What that means is since these numbers, 5 times 5, are being multiplied, the exponents don't really fall into this. Instead, you are adding them. If it's multiplication right here, you have to add the exponents. If it's division, you have to subtract. So 6 plus negative 2, or 6 minus 5, or minus 2 is going to give you 4, and then the base stays the same. So as you can see, our answer is 5 to the 4th power. It matches up with C here. We'll see more of these problems later on in the lesson. Number 22 says jk to the negative 5th power times jk to the 3rd power, so equals what? So here we have the same thing again. The bases are both the same, so we have to look at the exponents, and since we are multiplying, we're going to add the exponents. So negative 5 plus 3, that equals negative 2. So my answer is A. Remember, you don't have to multiply the j and the k. You can just add the powers and you'll have negative 2. So it looks like this could be a possible answer because it's 2jk, but the bases stay the same if you're just going to add the exponents. So this is not the right answer. The correct answer is A. All right, 23 says, which of the following shows the next step using the least common denominator simplifies 7/8 minus 5/6? So remember that when we subtract or add fractions, we have to find the lowest common denominator because the denominators have to be the same. In this case, we have 8 and 6. The lowest common denominator, let's see, we can figure it out. I always like to do a little chart, so I'm going to do a little chart down here. I'm going to put 6 and 8. I always like to do a bigger number first because sometimes you see it a lot easier. So I'm just going to list multiples of 8. So I have 8, then I have 16, and then I have 24. And I'm going to stop right here because I'm pretty sure 24 is going to be my answer. I'm just got to confirm it right here. So I have 6, I have 12, I have 18, and I have 24. So what do you know? 24 is my common denominator. So now the question is, how does this become 24? So 8 becomes 24 by multiplying it by 3, and 6 becomes 24 by multiplying it by 4. So what we do at the bottom, we do to the top. Now it's not asking us to solve this one, it's just saying what's the next step. So we're looking for something that looks like what we just did right here, that looks like this. So we have 7 times 3 on top, 8 times 3 on the bottom, minus 5 times 3, and 6 times 4, which will give me A. That's exactly the one it is. All right, 24 says 4 to the second power times 3 to the fifth power times 2 to the fourth power over 4 to the third power times 3 to the fifth power times 2 squared. Okay, so this one is another powers problem. As you can see, these the bases that are directly above and below each other are the same. So we can just simply subtract, since it is a division problem, we can subtract the exponents. So let's go ahead and do this. So it's very easy. Let's kind of forget about these numbers right now. And let's just subtract the exponents. So we have 2 minus 3. We have over here, we have 5 minus 5. And we have 4 minus 2. So 2 minus 3 is negative 1. 5 minus 5 is 0. And 4 minus 2 is 2. So I'm left with 4 to the negative 1 power times 3 to the 0 power times 2 squared. Now, this is one way that we do it, but it gets kind of confusing because we have right here, we have this negative 1 power. We can't solve this problem with a negative power. So if you remember, the correct way to get rid of negative 1 power is to go ahead and flip the problem to do the inverse. So we're going to go ahead and flip it to get the power positive. So 4 to negative 1 power, we're going to turn it to 1 over 4 to the first power. And on this line, we have to keep 3 to the 0 power as 1. Anything to the 0 power is 1. And 2 squared over here is 4. So we have 1 times 4 is 4. And we have 4 to the first power is, of course, just 4, which equals 1. Now, let me show you another way that we can do this problem, because I feel like that might have been a little confusing if you do not know that you have to get rid of the negative 1, you have to flip it. So let's do it a different way. The other way I like to do it is I just like to subtract the bigger number by the smaller number, and wherever we have the difference is where it ends up. So for example, here we have 4 to the second power and 4 to the third power. Well, they have at least 2 powers. You can take away 2 to get it down to 0. So what you're left with is, up here you're left, if we take away 2, because that's the most you can take away from both, you're left at 4 to the 0 power and 4 to the 1 down here. And then from this one, we can take away 5 from both, so you're left with 3 to the 0 power and 3 to the 0 power. And on with the base of 2, we have 4 and to the power of 4 and to the power of 2. So we can take away, the most is 2. So if we take away 2 from 4, we have, we have 2, not 4. And down here we have 2 to the 0 power. So once again, 4 to the 0 power is 1. 3 to the 0 power is 1. 2 squared is 4. And down here we have 4 to the 1 power is 4. 3 to the 0 power is 1, and 2 to the 0 power is 1, which once again gives me 4 over 4, which my answer is 1C. 25 says, which expression is equivalent to 7 to the 5th power times 7 to the 10th power? So we should be really good at these by now, because we've done a lot of them. Since we're multiplying, we're adding the exponents. 5 plus 10 is 15, so this is equivalent to 7 to the 15th power. The answer is A. 26 says, which value is equivalent to 3 to the 10th power over 3 to the 2nd power, or squared? So once again, we're going to, since it's division, we're going to subtract these. So 10 minus 2 is 8. So we have 3 to the 8th power. Since the bases are stays the same, the correct answer is D. 27 says which value is equivalent to 10 to the 8th power over 10 to the 6th power. Once again, in our subtraction problem, the powers, we're going to subtract them. 8 minus 6 is 2, so my answer is 10 to the 2nd power. Hey, wait a minute, it's not even on here. So did I do it wrong? Well, if you notice, we have, for the first time in this section, we have numbers and then we have problems with exponents on them. So it definitely is not 10 to the 4th and 10 to the 14 because I got 10 squared. But hey, maybe 10 squared is one of these numbers. So 10 squared is 10 times 10. And we know that that equals 100. So hey, it was one of these. My correct answer is A, 100. So it goes to show that make sure you do your problems all the way. Most of the time, it'll leave it just in this form. But for this problem, it was trying to trick us a little and make it seem like we got the right answer. But we really did get the right answer. It was just asking for a more simpler form of it. All right, 12 says square root of 225. Well, for my class, if you remember how to do square roots and figure out square roots, you should be able to do the square root of any number. But in case you don't, there's a pretty small square root, and if you look over here at the answers, they're all perfect squares. So let's go ahead and just multiply to figure out which one it is in case we don't know. So let's start with the first one, A. It is the same number multiplied by itself twice. So let's start with 15. So 15 times 15 is, 5 times 5 is 25, carry the 2. That's going to give us 7. We have 5 and 1. 5, 12, 2. Hey, what do you know? First answer was the first one. If it wasn't A, 15, which it is, all we have to do is really multiply the other ones to themselves, and we'd have our answer. All right, 29. 29 says if x equals 100, what is the value of 4 square root 100, or x? So let's go ahead and plug in x. So we have 4 square root of x, and it says that x equals 100. And this is pretty much telling us that we're multiplying 4 times the square root of 100. We know the square root of 100 is 10. So it's pretty much telling us 4 times 10. And 4 times 10 equals 40. So my correct answer is 40. 30 says the value of square root of 85 is between which two integers? So remember, the square root is the number that you get when you multiply two numbers. So when it's asking for the square root, it's pretty much saying, hey, what two numbers multiplied by each other equal this number? In this case, we don't have, it's not a perfect square, so we don't know. It lies in between one of these two numbers. So let's do 8 and 9. So 8 times 8 is 64, and 9 times 9 is 81. Now, does 85 lie in between 64 and 81? No, it doesn't, so it's not A. All right, the next one is 9 and 10. So I already know 9 is 81. Let's do 10 times 10, which is 100. Is 85 in between 81 and 100? Yes, it is. So my correct answer is B. 31. It is an absolute value problem. That is what these little lines are that kind of look like parentheses. They kind of are parentheses. You definitely do what's in them first. They are a form of brackets. But the good thing about, or the neat thing about absolute value is that every single answer or number that comes out of them will always be positive, even if it's initially negative in the inside, because it's telling you, it's explaining how far it is away from 0. So negative 5 is 5 spaces away from 0, so the absolute value of negative 5 is 5. So let's go ahead and do this. We have 9 minus 5. 9 minus 5 is positive 4, subtracted from 6 minus 8. 6 minus 8 is negative 2. Alright, so the absolute value of 4, which is 4, how far is 4 away from 0? That's 4, minus the absolute value of negative 2, and negative 2 is also 2 spaces away from 0. So 4 minus 2 is 2, and that is my correct answer, which is C. Please do not ignore the absolute value signs, because then if you do 4 minus negative 2, you have an answer of 6. I notice that 6 is right here, is D. So please make sure that you understand absolute value it doesn't mean that these negatives are positive. It just means whatever outcome comes out of them will be positive, like this -2. Number 32 says, which expression has the smallest value? Well, the absolute value of -19 is 19 spaces away from 0. -34 is 34 spaces away from 0. 11 is 11 spaces away from 0. And 47 is 47 spaces away from 0. Which one of these is the smallest? Oh, that's easy. 11. 33. If the value of the expression below are plotted on a number line, which expression would be closest to 5? So let's figure out the values first before we do this. So -4 is 4 away from 0, and -18 is 18 away from 0. 7 is 7 away from 0, and 16 is 16 away from 0. So in this case, 4 is the closest to 5. So the answer is A. Notice that if you did not understand absolute value, you would probably pick 7 as being the closest to 5 because you didn't understand that it's not absolute value is asking you how far it is away from 0 on a number line. In this case, it is 4. That's the correct answer. 34 says the sum of a number n and 14 is 72. Which equation shows this relationship? Alright, so and as you can see down here in the choices, they have equations. So let's find out. This word right here is a really important word, the word sum, and the word is also important. Let's find out what those words mean. If you recall, the word sum means addition, and the word is means equals. So we have an addition problem, and the numbers we are adding is a number, which is n, so I'm going to write it n down here. It's an addition problem, so plus the number 14. Is means equals, and 72. So I don't see n plus 14 equals 72, but I do see 14 plus n equals 72. And we know that when we're adding, it doesn't matter what order we add in, we'll get the right answer. And we're still adding the same two numbers. So my answer is A. 35 says if x is 4 and y is 3, then xy minus 2x equals what? So let's go ahead and plug these numbers in. So we have xy minus 2x equals what? So x is 4, y is 3, and we're going to subtract 2 times x, which is 4 again. And that's going to equal something. So let's go ahead and do this. Order of operation tells us we're going to go ahead and multiply these two first. So 4 times 3 is 12, minus, we're going to multiply these next. 2 times 4 is 8, and equals 12 minus 8 is 4. Our answer is A.